As well, the Dow was down 4%. It was then up 1.5%. It's back down minus 1.62. That's as the markets try and respond to what is going on. And in an effort to try and steady the markets, in an effort to try and also steady the automotive sector here in the UK, the Prime Minister and the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, were at the Jaguar Land Rover plant in the West Midlands, making announcements, trying to put a bit of confidence in the automotive sector. Huge exports to the US, going to be slapped with 25% tariffs across the board for automotive exports from the UK to America. Well, joining the PM and the Chancellor was our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates. Sam, what do you make of what they had to say?
Hello, Gareth. Welcome to the Solihull plant of Jaguar Land Rover, where a new Range Rover rolls off the production line every few minutes, and I'm standing just where Keir Starmer was just a few minutes ago. Yes, reassurance, but also making the case that the world has changed. He told the gathered audience that we are in a completely changed world where the old assumptions don't apply. What's the significance of that? Well, Keir Starmer's making clear that he might have hoped to get some kind of urgent trade deal with the US, but that now looks as if it's going to take a little bit longer. In his remarks to the workers here, he was saying he would only do a deal if it was in the national interest, in the interests of working people. It feels to me that despite the haste of last week and the week before, now the tariffs that are imposed, 25% on car exports to the US, 10% on other goods to the US, they are here potentially to stay for some time. Two big announcements today. First of all, watering down green rules that would have required all cars to be electric if they're new sold by 2030. He's allowed some manufacturers to push off that target. He's allowed hybrid cars to keep being sold new until 2035, and he's changed some of the system of incentives below the bonnet. It will mean that the electric car industry takes a hit. He thinks that's worth it to prop up that industry. Workers around here that I talked to pretty pleased. He also announced some funding for a genome project with the Wellcome Trust to invest in life sciences. That's what he says he can do. But if we're being honest, Gareth, the question is that enough? Because we are at a moment where potentially Britain taxes a lot and borrows a lot, and it is hard to cut public spending quickly. So there aren't the kind of big bazooka that you might have had during economic crises of the past. The question really being asked at the weekend after some coverage is there just a little bit more scope for more borrowing? Could those fiscal rules that were invented by Rachel Reeves and she doubled down on the spring statement a week ago, could they be junked in order to give this government a bit more of an ability to support industries hard hit by tariffs? Listen to my question and the way that the Prime Minister answers it and see whether he left any wiggle room for himself.
What we're saying about security for our economy is what we were saying going into the election, what we said out the other side, but now we've got to turbocharge it and link it to the other measures for lowering trade barriers. So the reaction to the challenges of the last few days is not for us to say, well, the first thing we'll now do is to put one side our fiscal rules. It's to remind people why we put them in place in the first place, which is to create the certainty that we need. There is enough uncertainty and insecurity as it is. Our job is to calmly and pragmatically take forward these really important steps today for our country.
Sorry, just to explain the question that the Prime Minister answered, was there any chance, could he absolutely rule out changing those fiscal rules? Perhaps there was just a little bit of wiggle room. Downing Street say after that there aren't, but it is important to get the Prime Minister on camera saying these things. There will be announcements all this week, an investment announcement on Wednesday, further growth announcements on Thursday. All of this to show that the British economy is motoring, but the truth is that it will take a hit because of Donald Trump's tariffs that are likely to stay in place for some time. If the government's first mission is growth, Gareth, you've just got that little bit harder today.